Good day, Internet, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want to join us on Zoom, the number is on the screen. I am your host, Advocate of Words. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Advocate of Words, and when you spell words, that's with a Z because you know poetic license. We have 25 guaranteed slots tonight for the open mic. The theme for the evening is learn something, teach something. These 25 people on the list will be on the open mic. We also have about 10 people on the waiting list, and we always try to get to the waiting list. So poets have 4 minutes to share their poems. And after that, we will ask you about where people can find you, your social media, anything that you've got coming up. But please stick to those 4 minutes because I really want to get to those on the waiting list. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to tonight's producer, and that is Chris Lopez. He's back with us, and he got a haircut. Maybe later on we'll convince him to put his video on and we can see it. So with that being said, make sure those of you who are on Zoom, you open up the chat box because I'm going to be putting up who the next 5 are who are coming up so that you can get ready and look pretty for everyone, because this is being recorded and you can find it on Facebook. Look up Nuyorican Poets Cafe on Facebook. You'll be able to see it there, or on YouTube. So with that being said, and I hope you like the new intro, a little dramatic. I may edit it, but you know, we're trying to have some fun here. So first coming up is a mainstay of the Monday Night Online Open Mic and possibly the strongest person physically who attends the Monday Night Online Open Mic, and that is Christina. Let me unmute Christina. She should be able to. There you are. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Are you ready to start the night off?
Yeah, 1 minute. Just 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, get into it.
Okay. I am ready. Are you? I guess I question is, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
You taught me that love knows no boundaries. It can't color in the lines, even when it's the one who drew the picture to begin with. It connects the dots with chalk because tears and rain can wash away mistakes you'd never notice or see the smudges that were made. Palms pressed against concrete dragging. But what I heard was that love doesn't take no for an answer. So I got used to never trying to understand the definitions in a dictionary, never really knowing what good a thesaurus was, and I thought I was fucking up synonyms and antonyms for years. No, pushing, pulling, breathing, no. If you really loved me, no. You are such a tease. No, ripped jeans. No means no, except for when he thinks that you're going to change your mind. So all he hears are the words that he wants to hear roll off your lips. Always. What I remember was that love didn't need to listen with their ears or follow my mouth with their eyes, understanding how a tongue could funnel words up my throat, project them into the air. I hope that they could be a song for you that you would dance to. That one you would remember the melody and repeat the lyrics, especially when silence was deafening. But instead there was no music, and I found myself dancing alone, so I twisted and contorted myself, fighting to find a way so that I could be comfortable with never being heard, never being rememberable. Things that I wanted didn't matter anymore, and I could never amount to much anyway, always coming close, but being told that close just isn't close enough, that I'd still missed the mark. Being backed into the corners was never comfortable, but it felt like home. I learned that being silent was easier, like letters that have no business being in words anyway, like in knife, like in wrist, like in doubt, like in numb. No one believes you unless the bruises are vibrant shades of fingerprints left by hands too big for your throat, your waist. You showed me that love loves with fists, and that I am lucky that I am strong enough to absorb their shock, to hold me up, never breaking under force. You taught me that my body language was the only one that you spoke. And that kind of made me powerful, like drum beats that set the pace for the whole band. Everything just happens to fall in line, and That makes manipulation cyclical. Like, whose fault is this really? Becoming the teacher, the tutor, I started schooling others on how to actually love me, like setting the bar way too damn low, knowing that at some point limbo wasn't going to be fun anymore. And we were going to have to figure out how to play games without bending too far backward or cheating by leaning over and crawling on our knees. I never really noticed that I was losing the whole time anyway. Misfired missiles that were sent to the wrong target, misplaced frustration. I thought that I could find myself in someone else. Too many piss poor first dates, feeling like I had nothing else to offer because they had lied about what they actually needed too. Souls passing, fingers interlocking, but spirits dissipating before us even realizing that this wasn't going to work. Boys who acted like men so badly because clearly their role models were just as bad as mine were, and men who acted like boys, making me see that age was just a number, and we had all missed out on something in our pasts that we were trying to look for now. Accepting lust instead of love, accepting love language that weren't mine, never correcting, always. The word they want to hear, except for when it comes to compromise. Boundaries aren't meant to just keep people out, but provide shelter for those that are inside. Change the name, but the rules are still the same, pretending that being called names is endearing, like slut, like bitch, like ambition, like bossy. It tastes different coming off their tongues being passed to mine. It feels heavier when I wrap my arms around it, offering compassion and appreciation to the little girl who had been buried under the rubble, waiting for help that would never come. Teaching her now that risks are worth taking, that we are valuable, and that we are worth loving, and that we can rewrite the lesson plans.
Let me unmute everyone. Give it up for Christina.
Christina. That was beautiful.
I love that echo and feedback. It means a lot of people are making noise. When I unmute you, make sure if you give the option to be unmuted, do so. You can make noise for the poet. Christina, that was fantastic. I want to quote, Denise put up my favorite quote, my body language was the only thing that you spoke. Loved it. Christina, where can the people find you online?
Yep. So my website is runsweateatrepeat.com, and my Instagram handle is also runsweateatrepeat.
Thank you, Christina. Appreciate it as always. That is Christina. This is show 24, and I think she's been to like 23 of the shows. Always on point, always something new, always something interesting. Make sure you go check her out. Run, Sweat, Eat, Repeat on Instagram and her website. Okay, next coming up, we have someone who made their first appearance with us last week, and that is Jessica Frazier, aka Jess Frazier, aka Jennifer Frazier. So I remembered all that. How are you, Jess?
Hi. I'm doing good. How about you? I've got some pets who are freaking out, so you might hear some barking or some yelling at some point. Just a warning.
That just adds to the production value. You were good with it. So, all right,
Cool.
Go ahead. We're ready to listen. Get into it.
All right. So this poem is called To the Girl Who Stumbled Back at 2 a.m. To the girl who stumbled back at 2 a.m. and crawled between his covers like a velvet bookmark in a worn-out Harlequin paperback. That boy is just a footnote. And there will be other chapters that are far more worthy of your beauty. To the girl who lost her home and still showed up to the pageant in costume jewelry and painstakingly altered consignment store gowns. The ingenuity that made you feel like a fraud will become your greatest asset. You will see futures where others see endings, and for that, businessmen will pay you thousands of dollars to rewrite the stories of their companies. P.S. Fuck that bitch who told you that you were fake, when you were vulnerable just to throw you off your game. You may have been third runner-up, but now your jewelry is real, and that jealous hoe is no longer working on television. To the girl who went to class every day with a smile and carved hate into her wrists at night. The generational curses that have plagued your family line will end with you. You will not give in to the lonely. You will not turn to that which is unworthy. You will choose your friends wisely and curate your family like the hallowed halls of Harvard's law school library, knowing that some of them don't deserve you. You will have men who adore you with the richness of a first edition, written by a queen, gifted to a poor man who has learned to appreciate classics. And show those other assholes the door. To the girl who stumbled home at 3 a.m. and sat down in front of the family computer, with mascara on her cheeks and tequila on her lips, bruises on her breasts and hissy between her hips, searching for a better outlet for her pain. So am I. And don't worry, young heart, because your story will sound like a love song to him, sung sweetly from the page. That's it.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Beautiful, sweetheart. That was really, really wonderful.
So
Great
sweet.
job.
Excellent, excellent.
Jess Frazier, let me unmute her one more time.
Thanks.
And I love the calmness in your voice. And you know, it was great. It juxtaposed against like the little bit of chaos.
Like the
that
cat
going.
was jumping here, the dog was moving there. I'm like, okay, we'll do all of this at once. It's good.
And you were still calm. It really added to the production value. Jess, where can the people follow you online?
Awesome. You can find me on Instagram at She Speaks Truth Poetry, and then I'll just put that in the chat as well.
Yes, please put it in the chat. Thank you. That was Jess Frazier, AKA Jessica Frazier, AKA Jennifer Frazier. She's on the run from the feds. Okay, so next coming up is our resident historian with a new mic, a new video. We've seen this man grow. We've heard his poetry grow. We've seen his setup grow. Alexander Goldberg, the GOAT. How are you, Alexander?
I am good, thank you. I'm ready to perform. As long as I can write and perform, I'm all right.
That's what's up. Appreciate it. I love having you on, man. Go ahead, get into it.
Thank you. So, people created civilization precisely because they were able to learn and teach. They learned to overcome obstacles and heal wounds. My laptop was stolen with all of my poems. They weren't saved anywhere else. How do I survive when a great part of my life so suddenly has been erased? The poetry is what I'm living and breathing. But after that horrible theft, I thought to quit writing and just stick to reading. There was no more energy left. I felt really tired, but I was inspired by those who stood the test of time. By Williams and Ginsberg, who worked and who lived here. They showed us what we can become. My poems won't perish because I still cherish the time I first came to the stage. I know so, the new opportunity also could come from a single blank page. I felt a great anger, but I talked to a stranger. He gave me a notebook and pen. The times were so tough, but I felt it's enough for me to start writing again. I know I'm not weak, and I'm willing to speak, to change lives, to have them improved. There's one thing I wish, not to be like a fish, and not to stay silent for good. Each day brings a lot of unpleasant new things. There's fire and hatred all over. But people can also be likened to bricks. When they get burned, they become stronger. And we all are frightened by what's going on. Conditions get worse. We can feel it. But we also know that the people are strong. They're strong in both body and spirit. So never give up. If you're writing, don't stop. There's always new heights you can reach. Keep climbing, and you always get to the top. It's something I learn and I teach. Thank you.
What? You get some good of Alexander.
Hey,
Nice. Go,
Alex over here.
Mr. Goldberg.
Alexander the GOAT Goldberg. Let me unmute him. The people loved it. And I'm seeing in the chat, people are talking about your Outcast ode that you did on Thursday. I'm sorry, I missed that. Alexander, where can the people find you online?
Find me online. Alexander Goldberg 35 on Facebook, Go15 on Twitter, and Gorbensky on Instagram. People like my work, and that I'm able to perform, and I appreciate the love. Thank you so much.
Make sure you put it in the chat. And that piece hit a little, real close to home for me. I had lost my PC, and I had lost an epic novel of over 100,000 words. I lost a book of short stories. I was ready to go a second poetry book.
Yes,
so
I know. I'm signed to your Instagram. So I read it on your Instagram, and that's what inspired this poem, really.
Man, you touched my heart, brother. Like, you touched my heart. And then how you flipped it at the end with the theme. I loved it. Brother, thank you so much.
Yes, I always appreciate it.
Alexander the GOAT Goldberg. That dude is all kinds of awesome. All right, next coming up is Nick Paleologos. I think I said it right. Where is Nick? I believe Nick. Oh, I see him. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself. There you go.
You got
How
it
are you,
right.
man?
You got the last name right. I am proud of you. Very good. I'm happy. Undoes the years of all the high school teachers and everybody like mispronouncing it. I'm just like, feels good.
I'm glad I could do some good, man. So you ready to get into it?
Yes, I'm ready to get into it. I only have one today. Only one. I had one written, but I'm saving that one for my 31st birthday, which is coming up very soon this month. So I'm going to save that for when my 31st comes around. This one's called Outcast. Outcast. Definition: someone who is rejected and doesn't belong. They should have known all along that I am not an outcast. You do not see me recording with Andre 3000. I am someone who is steadfast and I'm no longer doubting. With that said, class is in session. There are three things that I've learned. It's to take an opportunity and snatch onto it. Opportunity is anything you can imagine it to be. Do not ostracize opportunities over obscure observations. You never know what content contains in conversations. The second, stay unique, each and every week. The third, remember all the times you felt happiness. This helped me when I was angriest. This saved me from dark habits. This made me want to make more memories while saving myself from a dead status. I don't have an offspring to teach. That doesn't mean it falls on deaf ears. I use my page to perform on the platform and use my reach. And to ultimately denounce demonstrative fears. Take what you will from me in terms of knowledge. I'm not a dummy that just went to college. Utilize what I've said or don't. Doesn't matter to me. As long as I can speak, I'll teach those that want to learn. That's that.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Nick.
Yay to the teachers.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Haley Logos, let me unmute him now. Now I know I say the name right. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself one more time.
All right, there I am. I was like, I just lost it for a second. I'm back now. All right.
Where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at The Real Nick P. I also have a Cash App. It's Cash App and my last name, so it's $sign and Paleo Logos right there. I'm currently working on a few books myself, poetry books, even novels too as well. So I've got a lot going on. I just don't know where to begin again, but I'm going to be getting back onto it soon and hopefully have something out very soon.
I think the Giants are playing tonight, right?
Yes, they are. I believe they're winning 10-9, I think, which I was shocked by. I was like, maybe they'll get blown up at the first quarter, but they're doing actually very well, surprisingly. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
I appreciate you being here with us while the game is on. I know how it is, man. So
definitely
make sure, again, put your info in the chat. That was Nick Paleologos. Next coming up, she made her first appearance with us last week as well, and that is Catherine Sweeney, who is out on the West Coast but used to live in New York City, correct?
Yep.
Yep,
How you doing?
I remember that too. Wait a second.
You muted me last week.
I was about to say that. Okay, we cannot mute you now. You are good to go for the rest of the way. And I do remember that yesterday I had seen how the entire chat reacted, or at least the videos when you had started your poem. And I love that reaction. But I remember seeing the grid and everyone going, what? I love it. So, all right, Catherine, you ready to share your poetry with us?
Yep.
Okay.
This one is called August in Scituate. That summer you hauled oranges and drove a white truck, the kind with the single cab and flatbed, where the seat goes straight across the middle, the kind the sun heats so hot when you took a corner, I'd slide across the sticky, humid leather and land beside you, leg to leg. Several oranges always fell on the road, split open and bruised, but you never seemed to notice. That same summer, you let that guy stand over me in the bathtub, watching while I shaved my legs for the very first time. He kept his hands in his pockets and his crisp white shirt buttoned this time. The laughter in a loop. You laid out on the bed. You smoking a joint. You waiting for him to finish. And he slowly dragging his finger down your thigh to the arch of your foot. That's that.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Catherine.
Wow.
Oh,
Catherine.
damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fire.
Wow.
ooh.
Love the storyteller, how it came. I did not see a lot of this coming. I felt like it made a left turn when I thought I was going right. It's crazy. I love it. I love it. And I think that I was stunned and quiet. Like, wait, what else happened? I'm following the story. Like what else? But
There used to be more, but I crossed it all off and deleted it. And, it's always that way, I guess, right?
Yeah. Catherine, where can the people find you online?
I'm going to put my Instagram on here, but I don't really do anything else because, no thank you to all the rest of it.
Okay.
My last name is Renault, but it's Sweeney, but it's Renault. It's too complicated. Anyway, thank you guys.
All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully you come back next week. That's where we'll find you. You want to find Catherine, come back here next week. Catherine Sweeney. Next coming up is Issam Zine. Where is I believe I saw him. Oh, there he is. Look at him. Oh, snap. Issam got some muscles. I see it. You got some muscles there, man. How are you?
I did some reps before. I got some reps in for tonight. I'm good.
Awesome. I gotta ask. I'm gonna ask you every time I see you. Are you doing this there? Can we get the impression?
They're asleep, man. And I don't know if they're a little too shy for you.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, if you get to record this, I'm just like, I'm honored. I'm like, I want to see. I love to see kids do their impressions. But all right. So you ready to share your poetry?
I am.
Go ahead.
So my teacher tonight is myth. This is a poem called Backstory. It retells the myth of Echo and Narcissus, and the last section refers to. There's a name, Liriope, who's Narcissus's mother. Backstory. Echo's prologue. The appearance of the body is never the way we remember it. The phone voice is not the unpolished voice of the face. No one did the pointing out, said fragrance, or helped us understand weights and measures, or showed us austerity in the rugged countryside. At least two of our kind are losing themselves in the woods, one broken by the sound of her own cause, a missed call every hour, on the hour, the other gradually gone, a song across a blazing meadow. Every goodbye is a betrayal. Every betrayal, a flower. Narcissus to Echo with omniscient voice. There are universals that hold even after translation. For example, one half of an ass in each hand. A man comes into full being before you, a single God drawn out in silence. Would you pull him in? Would you have something to trade for escape if needed? What would make the difference? He brings you breakfast tomorrow, regardless, curls next to you like a comma, unfurls. Every time you climb into bed, you will remember him, even in the quick thrill of another man's love. We are all myth. This is beauty. I am who you sleep with. Narcissus recounts events from childhood. I don't remember my mother and father ever sleeping in the same bed. There was no ecstatic blackout, no further talk of tomorrow. He didn't stroke her through darkness. Instead, what we call ravage. The image of my mother ripples in a savage brook almost drowned. At 11, he told me I was conceived in a shower. He wasn't a very good dresser. Narcissus to Echo with imperatives, asides, and caveats. Say, there is no easy way to say this, so I'm just going to say it. Say, coal black horses. You smell good, like a nervous deer. Say, so there's no misunderstanding later. I can't love you the way I've assumed you want. Look at my body, remember it. Every muscle should contain you. Say, I'm not sure about kids. Do you know what erasure is? Say saga, say God, say servant, say son, eternity, journey, say sickness, say about desire, I will always have the last word. Say bliss. Liriope gives Narcissus the talk. This is what I have come to understand. You live in a country where some boys, 1, can't, don't, or shouldn't wear hoodies at night. 2, can't, don't, or shouldn't put their hands in their pockets. 3, can't, don't, or shouldn't make moves. You are not one of these boys. You are privileged. All you have to do is treat your body meticulously, and hers even more so. Dying is a political act.
Unmute yourself and give it up for the song.
Oh my God, man, dude, that was good.
Wow.
The Zane, let me mute everyone and then unmute him. Yeah, you should be able to unmute yourself. Ooh,
Yeah, I'm here.
took us on a ride, that one. Took us on a ride with.
Yeah, I'm emotional reading that one. I think that's the first time I've ever read that, so thank you for putting up with it. I think we lost Advocate.
Whoa. Okay, I'm back.
Oh,
I was
there
like,
we
wait a
go.
second, I think I lost you guys. I'm sorry. So, okay, Assam, did you say while I was gone, did you let the people know where they could find you?
Yeah, my kids actually came on and did the impression of you while you were frozen.
What?
Sorry
No,
you missed that.
don't put. You know I could go back and watch the replay. You know that, right? The replay. Go to New York Poets Cafe on Facebook. Everyone, you can watch the replay. That's what I'm gonna do. Great segue to promote. Thank you for that, Assam. I appreciate you as always, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you too. Thanks.
Assam, Sine. Sorry that I don't know what happened with my connection. Everyone froze. So I was like, oh no. Okay, moving forward. Mr. Speaker is back. Let me unmute him. Mr. Speaker, how are you tonight, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm enjoying the poetry so far. You ready to add to the energy?
I'm ready to add to the energy.
Yeah, brother.
So let's grow. Let's grow. Do you actually know the truth about your history? I mean, do you know his story while your past is still a mystery? Well, have you ever actually studied for yourself? Or are you just living off of someone else? Just in case you did not know, I am a descendant from kings. I don't care what you were told. See, you cannot believe everything you were taught in school. Many teachers and books were inaccurate, or they hid the truth, which is not cool. See, in 1492, Columbus did sail and land. That part is true, but actually he was lost. Killed many Caribbean natives and started the slave trade before he was through. Our founding fathers wrote, all men are created equal, but half of them owned slaves and they mistreated a lot of non-white people. Thomas Jefferson worked the Louisiana Purchase. What a deal he made, but Native Americans owned the land, so why'd the French get paid? Back in the day, minorities served freely on the Republican Party's team, while the Democrats were full of racists that helped birth the Klan's dream. Woodrow Wilson was a white supremacist. Back at Princeton in 1902, as president, he set blacks back 100 years. But see, that's something else teachers and books neglected to tell you. Knowledge can be one of the best friends you could ever have had. Walking around ignorant is ridiculous and extremely sad. The fear they have of me dates back before they started counting the days, because when I ruled the world, they called it the Dark Age. So study your history, as that should be one of your main directives. Now let me address another audience and run down history from a slightly different perspective. While I was king, I welcomed you into my land openly and blindly. You stabbed me in the back back. So please don't remind me. You stole me from my homeland while you were on your crime spree. Then you forced me to work your lands while you prospered so handsomely. You taught me lies which I accepted wholeheartedly. You raped my women for years, so not even your blood runs through my seed. But look at that black queen walking and living so boldly. Thanks for leading me back to my God, because you realize he also loves me. Then I prayed to God to set me free from your tyranny. After slavery, your justice was hanging black men in public from trees. But see, I've been through slavery, so that does not define me. I did with your racism, and I refuse to let that bind me. I even had to sue you in court for a right to get an equal opportunity. I pray to God for forgiveness so we can all live more divinely, but don't push me, because see, not all that anger is completely behind me. We can work together, lead this world so we can all live freely. But just remember, we are equals. So come, brother, walk beside me in peace.
Mute yourself. Give it up for Mr.
Blow it
Speaker.
up.
Nice.
Blow it up, speaker.
Yay.
On.
Thank you.
Say that. Say that.
Mr. Speaker, let me unmute him one more time. Thank you for your poetry and for your service, brother. Where can the people find you online?
Like you said, right back here next week, Mr. Speaker on Facebook, and Mr. Speaker to you on IG.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Next Monday, in fact, next Monday, the theme is forgive yourself. That's the theme. I know next Monday is going to be heavy. Ooh, but it's going to be heavy with forgiveness. All right. That's what I want something honest and real. Forgive yourself. Next week is really going to be about healing. Ooh. All right. I'm excited for that. All right. No therapy session. Back to poetry. Next coming up is Jenna Can Do No Wrong Fleecing. Let me unmute her. She should be able.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy to see you here. So you back in school? You back into the throw of things?
Yes. I'm really excited. School has started and it's like, getting back to normal. So
are you in classes or is everything virtual?
Okay, I have 2 in-person classes and then 1 class that meets on Zoom, and then my other 2 classes are just like do your work however you want before the end of the semester. So yeah, so it's good. I'm very excited. I'm taking a lot of interesting courses, and I'm very excited to read to you guys what I wrote today.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's kind of actually inspired by this picture I have to show you. Zach made this for me with a pen and pencil. Isn't it like the most beautiful thing ever? Yeah, so this is not about Zach, but the picture did inspire me. And it's called Unexpecting Larva. When the caterpillar sits on the branch of the tree and looks up at me, it musters, I will now become a butterfly. I say, dear, you can't guarantee such a thing. I think how awfully presumptive it must be to not take the chance of a strong bird perching itself on the branch and enjoying them for a midnight snack. The caterpillar still says that it will become a butterfly. I'm not against its optimism. I only believe in acknowledging the reality of things. Stop titling me overly cautious and paranoid. Let's not forget the last time the caterpillar thought it was in love, and let the lady beetle devour its autonomy. Let me teach you something, unaware caterpillar. I saw the damn beetle. I told you he was coming before you let him in your home, before he forced himself on you, before he destroyed you, but that's not your fault. Can someone please explain to me the fascination of watching the Animal Channel when there is an inevitability of conquest and death? I can't seem to understand it. Silly caterpillar, the boy is just disguised as the love of your life, but really he's a toddler ready to pick you up off the tree branch during recess, consume you for sheer enjoyment. Why can't you see the obvious? Don't be so oblivious, dear caterpillar. I'm not denying that you have the possibility of becoming a butterfly, but not when you let all these boys become roadblocks to your metamorphosis. I wish I could wrap you in a cocoon, help you get through the process, but I can't protect you from your sheer naivety. How am I supposed to make sure you end up a butterfly if you're putting yourself at risk, making these transitions nearly impossible, and not eating enough leaves? Oh, caterpillar, I was just like you, And now I am a butterfly whose wings have healed. That doesn't make me incapable of saving you and your new wings. And I hope one day you'll also be able to become a butterfly and fly.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Jenna.
Jenna. Woo! Jenna.
Hey.
Jenna Fleeson. Woo. And I was watching the grid and everyone, and I think Paul Skiff, he caught the quote that moved everyone, using these boys as roadblocks to your metamorphosis. Oh, that line right there, it hit. Jenna, where can the people find you online?
They can follow Jenna's Poems with a Z at the end. That's my poetry account. And yeah, I'm hoping, and if you guys have any information about other open mics that aren't on Monday or Thursday or Wednesday, I'm always open to perform new places. So I really appreciate the platform. Thank you so much, Advocate. Yeah, and I hope everyone does amazing. We're off to a really good start.
Thank you, Jenna. Jenna can do no wrong. Fleecing. I love it. I love it. That line was hot. Make me want to like shut down this open mic and go right. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to shut down the open mic. Okay, next coming up is, where is she? Trisha De Jesus. I hope that everyone is paying attention in the chat, because people are writing in there and they're talking about the poetry and they don't want to be rude to anyone while they're performing. So of course no one's talking. So make sure that you check it. And Trisha is one of those people that lights up the chat. And I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate the poets that come here and they share their poetry, and then they're also commenting, they're engaging with everyone else. So Trisha, how are you this evening?
Doing better today. The Bay Area is looking semi-normal. Yeah.
Okay.
The sky is present today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Are you ready to share your work?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Lesson 1 is that you don't know who people really are. Trainwreck Tanka. Dive off the deep end. We'll wave you off at the pool's edge. You don't see our frowns. Your feet kicking at our shock. Grown man don't need a life vest. I will not opine. My silence roars my judgment. Words would be wasted. Upon your obstinate will, make your mistakes on your own. Beyond the world's eyes, who are we to say what goes on behind closed doors? We know perfection is subjective. Still, you are no less a fool. I deduced how lust became late night walks in heels and significance of diamond rings in boxes. Never the same neat ending. The time will never be right to address what we are all thinking that wretched elephant will not leave on her own. Today the face smiles, painted lips for your pleasure. Just remember, you must perform the right function to make the rest of her dance. Lesson 2, family is not always blood. At the tender age, no, not tender, but ripe, you are what you see, what you dive into, revel, and steep. When the presence that grounds you is yanked out from underneath, a carpet at once verdant and humid and loud and pungent and familiar. Familiar with the jolt, for you thought you would never comprehend it. Now simmered waist deep in an alien stew, a pot also at once home and an adventure. You absorb the tantalizing flavors with every pour. First, chop the onions finely to weep and purify. You reveal ache, nausea of homesick waves engulf. Then the chile and cilantro to embolden and renew. You sample an ignored father tongue, simultaneously simple and unwieldy. You wing the eye and cherry the lip, the red, the final touch, tomatoes, ready and bursting to teach passion, compassion, camaraderie, companionship, familia. You now see, but you have always seen in disapproving eyes, the otherness of this dish, but what is foreign to those who will not care to know is a comforting pozole that warms you all over, an affectionate mama who tends not only to your stomach, but your questioning heart, non-judgmental siblings who took you in and saved you from the cold of separation and rejection. Would you throw mama and her familia and me out with yesterday's refuse?
Unmute yourself and give it up for Trisha De Jesus.
Don't just be a hearer of the word, but
Let me mute everyone and let me get back to where. Wait, I lost Trisha. Where did Trisha? Oh, there she is. There she is. We didn't lose her. I just lost sight of her. You should be able to unmute yourself, Trisha. Whew. That was heavy, and it was heavy and common though at the same time. That's the kind of vibe I had. I was just like, I can't explain it. I can't explain. Next week I'm going to explain what I went through with that poem. Trisha,
Good, please do.
Where can the people find you online?
On Instagram at Finn_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE, and on Twitter at FinnBell.
Oh, Trisha, it is always a pleasure to have you every week.
You.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for adding to the chat and engaging with the poets. I appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much.
That is Trisha Bell. Trisha, please put your info in the chat. Make sure you type it up so that people can follow. Next coming up is a gentleman who's always checking in, but he doesn't always get on the open mic. He get every now and then he gets on, so it's a pleasure to have him on. It's been a while since we heard him. Scott Pleasance. Scott, you should be able to unmute yourself. Actually, I think Scott, were you on last week?
Week before last.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know you're sporadic when you share.
Yeah. Well, I'm selective when I share. Put it that way, man. But let me ask you to do me a favor while we're on here. I need you to unmute. Can you unmute Paul Latore?
Oh, snap. What the heck is going on, folks? What's going on, man? What's going on here?
Can you unmute Ray J?
Well, what's going on here, man? What's going on here?
Hold on. I need one more. I need you to unmute the withdrawn.
Where is the withdrawn? I don't see him.
He's there somewhere.
He's there.
Oh, I see him now. Now I see him.
Got it?
All right, now hold on. Now I gotta cancel the spotlight on you. I don't know what's going on, people. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Chris, producer, you better have my back, man. I don't know what's going on here. All right.
So you got all four of us unmuted?
Yep, and I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
You got it. So after 20 some odd shows, we just decided we were going to do something a little different. This is called The Urge to Write. Now, this is a 4-part creation, and I'm going to start. I asked for the assistance of some really talented writers to captivate this art. The reoccurring theme will be obvious and in clear sight, a collaborative essence that will have your eyes burning, your mouth yearning, your fingers itching, your total body twitching in the middle of the night. Now, what do you do when you get that urge to write? Do you write your poems in the morning with a pencil and use an eraser if you make a mistake? Do you write your poems in the evening with a pen and cross out every heartache? Are your erased words like a soft blemish on your paper or like an unwanted scuff on the top of your shoe? Does it matter if the color of your ink is always black, sometimes red? If you're like me, you still prefer the color blue. The withdrawn. Are you with me?
What do you do when you get the urge to write? Do you have many notebooks or writing pads that are converted in rhymes? Are they the black and white composition type? Or are they the large legal, all yellow with blue lines? Do you slowly undress the adjectives and take a moment to stare? Then spread the noun, place a semicolon in between, and capitalize it like you just don't care. Turn the cross of the T to the side to hide his face, and make the other letters shimmer by punctuating it with the period, you know, in that special place. Do you even ask for the proper spelling of her name, or use a C instead of a S? Fuck it, it all sounds the same. Do you ever fully reveal the whole writing, or just leave a little to show? Massage in the right letters, feel the right words, stroke that verse. Hey, Paul, please tell me what you know.
What do you do when you get that urge to write? Have you ever used a typewriter and hit backspace with correction tape, inserted the paper, rolled it down, and ripped it out when you made a mistake? Placed an X to cover up your typo or another random shape? Backspace slash, backspace star, backspace number 8. Yes, it's time to heed and go to the head of the class. This is a higher education course. Move your seat to the front of the room. You are about to get it straight from the source. Look to your left and look to your right. One of those ideas will no longer be with you by the end of the night. This is the force of thought, the power of the mind, to written introspections trying to occupy the same space at the same time. Scientifically, theoretically, metaphysically, it's impossible to find now. Raging. This is not all rhetorical, so please speak your thoughts and share the brightness of your special light. Continue to pose that question that what we said is in clear sight.
What do you do when you get the urge to write? Are you at the point of typing all your poems on your phone, or dictating through the microphone when you're in your room alone? Have you ever stood in front of a mirror to recite a poem to only one? Then you clapped your hands and nodded your head and said, yeah, that was really fun. Do you command or demand by your presence alone? Take the dictionary with you, hardcover Webster type, ignoring the one on your phone. Are you writing your lyrics as you float through this universe like a rising star, or capturing your notes like fluttering fireflies in the empty mason jar? Talk that walk down the red carpet, forcing us to write superlatives as we describe your best dress, always inscribing that you are an intellectual queen. And as royalty, we are demanding nothing less. Now, Scott, please summarize.
Simply stated, this has been a cool collaborative poem, a first edition hardcover version, a diamond that has been created under pressure and most certain to be an online, open mic, Nuyo, spoken word treasure. Peace.
Everyone mute yourself, give it up for them.
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness! Pablo, coño, caliente, caliente, holy shit!
Had to let it run out a little. And make sure mute everyone now. Had to let it run on a little. All right, I'm only gonna unmute Scott Pleasance right now. Go ahead, Scott. So I guess is it you who reached out to everyone? Was like, hey, I got this plan. What was it?
Yeah, but you know what? It's indirectly, because every week you log on, people are kind of reaching out to you. So it was just me kind of pushing the energy back out. But it was cool. We pulled it off. I thought it was great.
Yeah, man. Make sure you go to the Nuyo's Facebook so that you can rewatch it and see for yourself, everyone. Yeah. So Scott, where can we find you online?
I'm at I am Poet33 on Instagram, and I'll put it in the chat. And like I said, another special shout out, to Paul of Withdrawn and Ray for really bringing it in with us. Okay.
That's what's up. Scott Pleasance featuring the Withdrawn, who will be on the open mic later, Ray Jane, who will be on the open mic later, and Paul Conqueso is on our waiting list. Not sure if we're going to get to him, but if you want to look him up, Paul Conqueso. That's where you can find him right there. So let's keep it moving. Actually, you know what? Let me take a break, because I think it would be unfair to get to the next poet after having following that. So this is what I'm going to do. So for those of you who may be joining us on Facebook or YouTube, if you want to come in, be part of the Zoom, the number's there on the screen, 279-995-364. Also, I need to give some thank yous, if I can see it, there we go. Want to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events, including the Monday night online open mic. You too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at www.nuyorican.org/contribute, or we are on Cash App at New Yorican Poets Cafe. Okay, so took care of that. And also, I really hope that everyone, we talk about building community. I keep asking everyone to put their social media out there so everyone can connect. And who knows, maybe now Scott and Ray and Paul and the Withdrawing are going to start a trend. So we'll see. Although the open mic would run on for real long if there were 25 slots like that. So easy, everyone, easy, okay? All right, cool. Next coming up is someone who you can only find here on the Monday night online open mic, and that is Diane Ward. Diane, you should be able to unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, how are you, everyone? Hello, hello. Well, I did something a little different too. Learn something, teach something. That's 2 volumes in itself. I mean, it's a topic that is outrageous. So I thought that I would take it from the stance of life lessons teaching. It comes from experiences. So I'm going to share something with you. I enjoyed my elementary school trips very much. On this occasion, we were going to Central Park. I had never been there and looked forward to this park with so many sights and attractions. Also a change of scenery, especially from other kids. Our teacher and others said it was a grand, big, huge park in Manhattan. Walking double file with my partner, I suddenly realized that eyes were on me. I was in elementary school. I was a little person. I noticed him out of the corner of my eye. A brief glance, a slight sound, but suddenly it became very quiet. I sensed something was wrong. I half turned around and found us eye level, and proceeding across the lawn, I somehow knew to run. It was a shiny day, grass, soil, trees. I cannot remember chirping birds, just me screaming. As I ran past my teacher, who was leisurely leading us through the park, the seriousness of my dilemma became clearer as the police officer who followed shouted after me, "Little girl, drop your lunch." My reaction was to hold on to my little brown bag even tighter. "Stop running, little girl," the sprinting policeman pleaded. "No," I replied, "he's going to eat me." I scampered up a large boulder. It seemed like a hill to me. I moved pretty fast. I only have 2 legs, and Dog Horse has 4. The dog horse couldn't climb. Unfortunately, neither could the policeman. He couldn't reach me either. "Please come down, little girl." My teacher was out of breath. My classmates were looking up at me. At this point, the leash was no longer lagging on the ground, but in the hand of the person the dog horse was walking. I came down the hill. My teacher and classmates wanted to know if I was all right and resumed in the park. I don't recall much after that. I guess the birds sang and I returned home safe, and my lunch, I don't know what I did with it, but thereafter I was suddenly afraid of horses. The half moon marks in my palms didn't even hurt. What did Ma pack for me for lunch? One of my favorites, fried bologna, liverwurst. That day, my first time in Central Park, I was a dog horse magnet. I never saw a dog that big before, and to my petite stature, he seemed quite imposing. Lesson for life then, what do Dobermans eat? I learned anything they want. Lesson for life, now, taught me, I support grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch. Did you learn from my story, from my lesson? The message is there, listening poets. Symbolism, action, interpretation, knowing and empowered poets. Get it. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Diane Ward.
Oh, Diane. Wow. That was fun. I remember.
Still, it is
Diane Ward bringing it. You know, Diane may have just been the perfect person to follow that foursome right there. She has this common energy and this confidence, and she was like, it's my turn. Welcome to my world. I loved it.
It was a hard act to follow. I mean, come on. They were wonderful, but thank you.
You did so well. You did it was so great. You did it so easily.
Thank
That
you.
was up. And I love your common energy. And of course, the only place you can find Diane is right here on the open mic every Monday. And I appreciate having you every Monday, Diane. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a shout out to Ron Mark Thompson, because I know that he put you on to this, and I'm so thankful for it. Thank you, Diane. That was Diane Ward. She cannot be found on social media. So if you want to see her again, come back here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're doing this. Okay, moving forward. Our next she's back. Those of you who have been with us for a while know that our dear Emily had gone away to take care of some things and go save the world and the universe. And now she is back. Emily Cordes. How are you, Emily?
Hey, I'm good. It's so great to be back. It's so great to see you guys again.
I'm so happy to have you back. For those of you who don't know, Emily has helped produce some of the open mics. Emily has handled the social media for the New Rican Poets Cafe. She is an actress, she's a writer, she is a poet, she is all around fantastic. So I'm excited to have you back, Emily. Yes. All right, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, this one is called AMA. AMA. Am I a pariah, cut loose to fall or fly, flying back too soon, a flight risk with no ride to take my flight home, gotta be my Uber driver. Returning to my island of the poor, huddled and tired, perpetuating violence with no time for peace or silence. Ask ourselves, why do we smile when we're choking on the bile of a path that's paved with trials or another downward spiral? Asking me, are you tired of this baptism by fire and this walk upon a wire barbed with fear and non-compliance? Answer that one with an eye roll, because that's just the way that I roll. Lone coyote in denial of truths I can't reconcile, and my body strained, fragile, can't endure another trial. Notwithstanding, I'm a fighter and I'll push on or die trying, bent to hell upon a life that I can truly claim as mine. Icarus taking to the skies. Will I nosedive? Will I rise? Take the plunge and shelf my pride, drowning out the noise outside, because I know I'm my own guide and I'm locked in for this ride. Thank you.
Do you have a second? Do you have a second one? Or that
I
was
do.
it?
Yeah, actually, I have a second one if we got time. Awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. Okay, this one, this one I wrote a while back. This is actually about it's a national heritage site in Tucson, Arizona called El Tiradito. It's the grave of this guy who was in the 1800s. He was murdered by his father-in-law for sleeping with his mother-in-law. And it became this kind of sort of legendary like tourist attraction where people will go and like make wishes and leave offerings and like light candles and stuff. So I wrote this poem about Tiradito. Tomb of the castaway, enshrined in contradiction. Sinner, lover, reckless fucker, cut down where he stood. Now in death, a legend, savior of the barrio. Bathed in wax and teardrops, walls cannot contain you. Splintering repression, grace keeps slipping through. Nuestro Señor de los Perdidos, Jude or Judas, who's to say? Tiradito, were you sorry or too stubborn to regret it? Dying as you died, laughing from on high at this world where love's a crime, and the powers who once scorned you fade like shadows in the sunlight. No more need to fight the good fight as the people cast their wishes in the dust motes at your feet. Tu y yo, Tiradito, two sinners who got lucky, saved from hell on technicality, though it's hard to tell in this blazing border town where the devils on your shoulder make more sense than all the angels. And if hell's not being able to tell your story, maybe we're just steps from falling in or getting out. Gracias, Tiradito, por este recuerdo. Castaways can find redemption in the tales that we've rewritten, and iconoclasts and sinners with their candles poised in vigil can find wishes granted in the rising dawn. Thanks.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Emily.
Damn. Damn. That
Thank
was
you,
awesome.
Emily. Thank you so much.
That was a
Cordis, like goddess. Someone had put that in the chat. That was one of the polls that had put that. You should be able to unmute yourself. Oh, I love it. I love it. The intensity in like your words are present and then you are present too, like as a reader. I love it. I love it. Emily, where can the people find you online?
Thanks. I am Postmodern Psyche on Instagram. I will drop that in the chat there. Yeah, and just Emily Cordis on Facebook if you want to do a little search for me there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Emily, for being on here. So are you going to be taking care of the social media again, or
I
you don't know?
actually have an announcement to make. I will be, I just got a new job. I'm going to be leaving the cafe pretty soon, but I will still be around as a performer. I still want to very much stay in the loop with this community because I love you guys and y'all are awesome.
Awesome. Thank you to Emily. Congratulations on the new job. And I'm so happy that you're going to come back because the people liked you. And there were people in the chat who were like, you can't go away again. I think it was Ray Jane. She's like, you can't go away. You're not allowed to leave us again. So Emily, thank you everything you've done for the cafe. You know, I've worked with a lot of people behind the scenes and I've always appreciated you and what you brought to the cafe and as a person and as an artist. So yeah, don't be a stranger now. Okay.
Thank you. I love you guys and Advocate. You're awesome. So yeah, love all around.
Emily Cordis, like goddess, make sure that you give her a follow. Emily, make sure to put the info in the chat as well so that people can follow you. I'm so sad to see her leaving, but like you're moving on to bigger and better things. You want that for the right people, right? You want the right people to win, even if it hurts you a little. It's okay. I'm not going to be selfish and tell her to stay. It's okay. All right. Moving forward is, look at, she's an actress too. She can act on point. Awesome. Next, we're going to keep it in the New Eureka family, and we are going to one of the OGs. If you want to know the history of the New York, anything, stories, anything, this is the man to speak to. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into the Skiff universe. Paul, you should be able to unmute yourself. Next up is Paul Skiff. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm doing okay tonight. I got altered, so I'm feeling kind of relaxed. How are you? How's your son?
He's good, man. We had a first good game for the fall baseball season. The second game, it was a tie. He didn't do as well. He didn't do bad, but he didn't do as well. But we got a game tomorrow, and he starts school on the 16th. So, you know, I've been trying to keep him busy, man. You know, an idle mind is the devil's playground, as they say. So,
Yeah.
but I'm lucky. I like my kid. I like, you know, I mean, yeah, I love him. I'm a parent, but like, I actually like him. So, you know,
Yeah,
thank
when
you
I
for
think
asking.
when I think of the people I know who have kids during this time, may that pain you. So, keep them going forward with you. That's the way. Straightforward, one foot in front of the other. I have to say, I really like Scott's tag team thing because as many times as you've seen a tag team poem live in a real place, I don't think I've seen that before online. So that was really kind of a treat to see that. I got something that's just tangentially about learning shit. This is kind of a, how can I call this? It's kind of a petty domestic drama in an anarchist household. I'm spacing out over how I could possibly enjoy your voice recorded on an answering machine, daydreaming a replacement of my own memory rattling from dry membrane in a plastic box, the singing of a flea sprung She got angry at me and fled upstairs out on the roof, staying there until 3 a.m. in steady rain. She came back down while I was asleep and poured drinking water on my head as a kind of farce justice. Then, trying to lose even more, she went into the bathroom to run a bath. She got in with conciliatory tone. She called out that if I came in too, she would forgive me. I said, it is more fun not to be forgiving. Upping her challenge, she said, bring me a glass of wine and I will forgive you. I said, but it is more fun not to be forgiven. This seemed obvious now. Then, playing hard, she said, I will give you a fellatio. You are sick, I said, steadying my voice as appreciative laugh. She laughed with me. You know, we had reached a perfect understanding. This was 3 days ago, and I was the only witness. The cat slept through the whole thing until the radio crackled with commentary about the arbitrary shape of human experience, reported with engineering terms as though life was architecture, constructed, massive, and burdened, as though confirming there is actually a force structured randomly like life, and too much shit was set on top of it, as though life was this object propelled immeasurably beyond its own limit of stress. Look in the mirror. The picture you will see is your skin inside, beyond, or behind your face, sharing with the radio how the answering machine got in our apartment through a spending habit. Every time reflection or an appliance push me away is a re-entry to why I feel like backward movement night gives to wakefulness as the moon hangs above a burning car outside the firehouse that has instead been repurposed into condos. We live in a whole dugout of these reversals where the sky will distract you from human nonsense with the weightless color blue, and even looking out a window will not lead you to the real world the direct way. 3 floors below your window, the fire captain rips flame a blistered license plate from heat-gnawed car frame and gets closer to the pragmatism that would carry your compliance with self-defeated logic to the garbage, mimicking how your eyes have dropped onto the sign above the school door that says, no metal weapons of any kind. Take a walk over there and look. You, the announcement that says, put something on me and eat it. You are a table upon which all these misfortunes gather. Don't worry. I feel a sense of responsibility about how you still act like I don't speak the same language as you or live on the same cognitive terrain. I will give you time to clean yourself off like a table would be. I will go home, abiding your mess, to look for my friend Spider, living among potted plants on the window sash there. I will assimilate another lesson in persistence. Humans, yes, Humans have not grown tired of imitating insects. It is just their hollow tributes to efficiency are over organized by self-satisfaction. Now, can you hear it? The radio is gushing empty, unpragmatic forms of knowledge onto my floor while the answering machine malingers with jokes for someone who has not lived here in 3 years. I can hear Spider whisper self-encouragement to me while I sneeze on the smoke of that burning car upholstery. I am going to leave me empty to survive as myself. Life lessons don't always come from teachers. And I don't give a fuck if you can't figure it out.
What? Unmute yourself and give it up for Paul.
I don't give a fuck.
Football. Paul, say it too straight.
Paul Skiff, you have just experienced the Skiff universe. Oh, you should be able to unmute yourself, Paul. There are there were a lot of quotes, but two that stood out to me. Miro quoted it, "It is more fun not to be forgiven." That's the mischievous side of myself. That's so cool to me. And also Paul Conqueso, he said, it is the skin you see beyond or behind your face. That stuck out to me. Paul, where can the people find you online, brother?
I'll put the website address in the chat, but I'm also going to put a link to a video that hasn't been made public in quite a while. But don't go look at this video now. I'll keep it open public for 24 hours. It's kind of a verbal workout, a really long rant with some intense imagery, but it has some really beautiful beatboxing and vocal electrics by King Luck, Terry Lewis, who's probably not going to be with us that much longer because he's in stage 4 cancer. But so catch this recording because his beatboxing and his vocal electrics, he puts his voice through a fucking guitar phaser using 2 microphones. And the results are really beautiful and crazily creative. I really liked this session today. You know, it's nice to have really intense themes or prompts, but it's really great to have a prompt like this that gets people to be really more contemplative and stuff and get into a real neat headspace. So thanks again, everybody, for getting here. And it really feels like people have really settled into this after 6 months. It's really a harbor for everybody. Thanks again.
Thank you. That is Paul Skiff, a New York OG. Make sure that you pay attention, look in the chat. He'll drop the information, or you can just, of course, go to his website, paulskiff.com. I love it. I love it. New York OG, man. Been there way before me. Okay, next coming up is the teacher. Where is Matthew Weintraub? Oh, he is someplace different. I do not see the brick back wall. You should be able to unmute yourself. What's going on, Matthew? How are you?
It's been a tough day. School sucks, kind of. It's kind of a mess.
I hear you. Look, are you outside?
Right now, yeah, I'm in a yard.
Oh, okay, cool. Cause I got that camping feel. Like, you know, and I could see like a city teacher after day 1. Now screw this, man. I'm out. Let's go. We going to the middle of nowhere.
I do want to just say how grateful I am to this community. Y'all are so talented. It's just so nice to hear so many wonderful thoughts and executed so well. So thanks this has like definitely made my tough day a lot more pleasant. Great way to end it. So This is an old poem that I have not read before out loud, but I'm kind of excited to do it. Teaching or preaching, the difference, indifference to faith, stunting belief, a relief to seek the truth you want, for to leaf is to see life as you wish it to be. Only being willing, gladly filling your prescription for a lens of motifs, distilling experience to a first appearance, dividing us from one another, to make and judge them as an other, instead of asking them, are you okay? Teaching or preaching, the difference. Indifference to regions measuring, numbers tethering, systems locked, learning loaded, always promoting symbols of life, but never living, always more to be giving. What for? Force-fed fluorescent light, met with blight, with no end in sight, because some plants only grow at night. Teaching or preaching, the difference, indifference to common sense. Listen to the lie that we must grow upright and uptight, but branches must run their own angles because they can tangle without strangling or mangling each other. To see their neighbors as sisters and brothers allows us to be close and never smother each other's light. Now imagine a farm where each seed needs space to feed. Each seed needs room to breed, room to flee. Shadows leading trees to stretch on its own ascent to the sun. Life is meant to grow, but in a city, the catch is that there's stone everywhere. On the sidewalk or on the stairs, all the caulk can't stop the stalks that hop up through cracks and balk at our need for order. Life is so hard to stop. So how then do we stifle crops that are meant to flourish, that we need to nourish our intellectual courage? We need our breed to grow dense in a way that presents a new lens that depends on destroying what you know, toying with what you think, to take a breath, to take a blink, to shake leafing creases that cease to drink in want and seed the ground for need. Soil and grace, time and space dictate every state to have traits and rates of exchange that range based on where one falls and grows tall. So if your land fails you and can't sustain you, you can't retain your residence if you can't resow your soul. So make an inference. Education, indoctrination, the difference, having an open mind, presiding over your health, and deciding what wealth means to you.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Matthew, the teacher.
Teacher, teach. Teacher, teach. That's exactly the pedagogy. Thank you, brother.
Well, his lights went out for a second there. We couldn't see Matthew. I got concerned for a second. Let me, I had to unmute everyone, unmute him. There we go, there we go. Matthew, man, I'm liking the vibe, stuff you were saying. There's a lot of quotables. Make sure you scroll back up through the chat so you can see what the people were saying. Where can the people find you online?
I'll post it in the chat. Instagram's at matt.eeee. So
Awesome.
yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. Can't wait to hear the rest of the poems.
Awesome, Matthew. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And you know, you're a grown man. If you need to have a drink tonight, have a drink. I've been there. Okay.
I'm taking care of myself. Don't you worry.
There we go. I like it. That is Matthew Weintraub being a little festive on his own right now, or as Paul Skiff said, altered. I'm all with it, man. We adults. I know what it is. And first day back at school, it's going to be a rough beginning to the school year. It's going to smooth out over time, but it's going to be a rough beginning for a lot of people. Okay, next coming up is, and he's from Maine, not Florida. I don't know why I always thought Florida. And that is Brian Franco. Brian, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
I am unmuted, sir.
There you go. How
Mr.
are
Advocate,
you?
Mr. Advocate, I have a question. Can I be Paul Skiff when I grow up?
You're gonna have to get in line, man. I've known them longer than you.
I always wanted to take over for Bob Barker and Price is Right, but I'd rather be Paul Skiff. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna have to speak to Paul, man. You're gonna have to speak to Paul. PaulSkiff.com. Good segue. All right, go ahead, Brian. Share your stuff.
This is brand new. I started it last Wednesday at Peggy Robles Alvarado's workshop, which everyone should do. It's free. It's on Eventbrite. It's called Line Breaks and Bronx Beats. It's wonderful. It's every 2 weeks, and so it's a little all over the place. But then again, so is my life. So if I can pull it up, sometimes my computer doesn't let me pull things up. It's called Making Meals from Songs and Poems. I can light the night up with my soul on fire. I can make the sunshine from pure desire. When I listen to Higher Love by Steve Winwood and I hear these lines, I get word endorphins, similar to a runner's high running through my veins. I have written poems in my head as songs with melodies, sung in the many voices of Billy Joel, but I read them out loud in a tone-deaf, warped sense of rhythm. I more or less write poems like food, more a home cook and less a chef. I am incapable of following recipes. I believe all recipes are made to be broken. Just knowing fancy French techniques doesn't hide the fact that someone serves a so-so sandwich. It's nice to know how to make a perfect omelet or scramble eggs, but don't give me slightly wet eggs and call them curdy, because I will call them runny. And it ain't no tomato situation. Poetry, like food, is a matter of taste or the sensitive taste buds of the eater. Some dishes get served up with meter and a million rhymes. Some poems are created with very few ingredients, like dry fried tofu with green beans and a tamari, Cameron, and Sichuan peppercorn sauce. Good. The reason BLTs and grilled cheeses are on every diner menu in America is because they never cease to satisfy. Dry fried tofu with green beans is like the BLT of Sichuan province, China. Haikus are like wood ear mushrooms. Haiku purists insist subject matter needs to be existential or about nature and claim continual sentence haikus are not real haikus. Wood ear mushrooms can be eaten whole or shredded. I prefer them whole. The slick texture feels luxurious to the tongue and teeth. Flavors like sesame oil, ginger, and Thai chili complement its unassuming earthiness. This not so common ingredient is loved by foodies who go gaga for a good burnt hot dog with sauerkraut and spicy brown mustard, believe ketchup on a dog is the 8th deadly sin, and appreciate sticks as much as the Stones and Stevie Wonder. After all, songs are poems set to music that feed our souls and emotions one way or another. One Way or Another is a 1978 hit song about a psychotic stalker by neo-punk pop rock band Blondie that millions of teenagers around the world joyfully dance to. The best song on any album is often a non-released track that makes it on the roster by the skin of its teeth. It hangs out barefoot on the front porch with an ice-cold lemonade, waiting for you to listen to it on a scorching summer day. Feel its soothing words flow through your esophagus and engulf your soul with endorphins. Take a listen to the folky mandolin tinged Boat on the River by Styx. Continuous sentence haikus are more entertaining and can be just as thought-provoking as existential nature pieces. I believe it is an outright sin to ask any poet to shred a poem or follow a recipe when his or her brain was born for cooking broken recipes. Thank you, everyone.
What? Brian Franco, unmute yourselves, everyone. Give it up for him.
Yo, Brian, thank you so much. That was great. Thank you so much. Feeding the brain, feeding the spirit.
Brian Franco, and I appreciate everyone taking the time to clap for him and not running to their kitchen, because I know he made everyone all types of hungry. Brian, where can the people find you online, brother?
Oh, I'm just on Facebook under Brian Ira Franco. That's me.
Make sure that you put it in the chat as well. I always appreciate having you on, man, from Maine. I'm never going to forget that now. Apologize
Gracias,
about that.
from the Bronx, right?
Yeah, all day, every day. That was Brian. That was Brian Franco. I love it. I love it. Also, he was referring to Peggy Robles. You can find her at Robles Writes, as in writing, ROBLES, at Robles Writes. And you find her on Instagram. She gives great workshops. So next coming up, we are going out to Colorado with Mr. Michael Sindler. There we go. How are you, Michael?
Hey, you would think that after not making the list for several weeks, I would bring my A game. And yet, on the other hand, this is just ranting I did over about the last hour or so before I got here. So it is what it is. Fires range out of control in forests, on streets, in bodies and minds. Sin screams for help, babies howl, creatures yelp, too many left behind. Leering, leader unmoved, uncaring, unkind, blind to sense of decency, tuned to a Moscow frequency, denying all responsibility for creating the calamity. Liar looks for scapegoats, the soot black darkness, unholy abyss of his soul, seeks no solutions, intent on goal of holding power, squeezing life from hope, his scope narrowed to self-aggrandizement, no care for where the land or lives went, burnt in uncontrolled flames, like the blazes he fans, his racist fans, maggots packed like rats or roaches into rallies full of contagion, hypnotized by lies that they breathe in like diseases, hooked by clickbait that QAnon creates out of fiction to feed paranoid addiction, to hate, to divide, us and them, pick a side. Would-be king hides how inside he despises the chumps and suckers sucking at his tit, and like Marie Antoinette, he gives them oleander cake with a straight bleach chaser, snake oil cure-all. They bow down enthralled while COVID spreads like aerosol raining down inside the hall. Huckster, pusher, faker, glad to let them die. They're nothing once they vote, they're ghosts, no more animate than ashes, or unmissed martyrs, excuses for abuses to the straw men he accuses of the crimes that he's committed, while again and again the sinful seller of hypocrisy revels in and suborns treason, the destruction of democracy, with his makeshift militia, Nazi brown shirt army, demented clowns in camo boogaloos declaring loyalty to the bozo, giant Cheeto, so-called elected leader of a nation who doesn't give a fuck about disease or devastation, loss of life or liberty. He'll play golf over graves of the heroes that gave all to keep us free. This sad example of humanity who spans hatred with every foul breath he blows and ruins everything within his grasp must go. This evil impostor's time has passed. No more laying in the mud with swine. Gee, oh, please, let's have a barbecue. So vote. This might be our last and only chance to put out the fire, scrape the grease off the grill and off of Capitol Hill, sweep away the trash, and kick evil's dusty ash.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Michael.
Yeah.
Yay, Mike, man. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Say it for real.
Cheeto.
Michael Sindler. He has something to say, man. They get something off his chest. I appreciate you, Michael. Once again, know where to find you online, correct?
Hiding in the shadows, man.
I hear you. Well, I appreciate you coming into the light for us every Monday, brother. I really do. Thank you. That was Michael Sindler. You can check him out here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. He's out in Colorado, or maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he's just like trying to throw our scent off. You know, he's in hiding, man. He's in hiding. You talk about powerful people like that in your poetry, you got to go into hiding. So, okay. Next coming up is someone who has never been on the Monday Night Online Open Mic, and that is also, before I mention this next person, there is someone named Alicia Rosser or Rosser. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right. Your connection is bad, and I see you have to keep coming in. Every time that you get in the waiting room and want to come back in, I'm going to let you in right away. So whatever internet connection problem you have, I'm really sorry, but I'm really glad that you keep trying to come back in. I'm going to keep letting you back in. All right. Tyrone Ross Thompson is next, and this is the first time Tyrone is with us. I see Tyrone. Should be able to unmute yourself, Tyrone.
Hello.
Tyrone, welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Where are you located?
Toppenish, Washington.
Oh, you're out in Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you near the fires out there? Is that affecting you in any way?
Oh yeah, it's like the worst air conditions that we can have. I think the rating was over 200. Not sure about the exact number, but you can barely see. It just looks like pure fog. And yeah, it's pretty crazy out here.
Well, my thoughts are with you, man. My thoughts are with you. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
So are you ready to share your work?
Yeah.
Get ahead.
So it's about history and continuing. And the title is Born 2 Centuries Too Late. I was born 2 centuries too late because I wasn't able to see Sligo Falls' power and couldn't hear its capacity of life. I was born 2 centuries too late because I wasn't able to exchange stories with Hun Wei, to Hulusu, or dance with Smohola, the dreamer. I was born 2 centuries too late because I wasn't able to host at the YM Trade Center. I was born 2 centuries too late because selective sovereignty and Borges thinking is regarded as excellence in leadership. I was born 2 centuries too late because native con artists are ready to pillage knowledge for the Native American dream and capitalism living. I was born 2 centuries too late because outsiders celebrated mediocre leadership of at will instead of listening. Witnessed the heartache and nonetheless, sometimes momentarily powerless, the Washani existence of non-treaty continue to help ex-kinships bury their loved ones with Washani humanity. And thank you for your time.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Tyrone.
Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Ooh. Oh, heavy, informative, all of that. Should be able to unmute yourself now, Tyrone.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback and the support. And on September 23rd, I'll be a featured reader with the Washington State Poet Laureate, Claudia Castro Luna. And it's about her book release, One River, 1,000 Voices. And so you can go to Instagram's Columbia Riverkeepers, and they have the sign up if you'd like to join us and hear our discussion.
So there'll be an open mic portion to it as well.
I'm not sure. I think she's going to read her book and I'm going to read. And if you sign up, you'll be able to question and we'll have like a discussion. I think that's how it's going to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So make sure you put that information in the chat as well. And where can the people follow you specifically online?
My Instagram is Tyrone_YM, WYAM, and Facebook page YM Publishing. And I'll put the link to the event for next week. And thank you for this space.
Thank you, Tyrone. Appreciate it. Don't be a stranger now. And then keep safe out there.
Yeah.
All right. Keep safe.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know we're all going through a lot. And now a lot of people on the West Coast have to deal with this as well, man. It's like 2020 is okay. Let's move forward. Next up is our resident DJ, Sam Park. Now, I don't know, like when you guys are performing, I like to watch in the grid view, and Sam is always one of those people that stands out. She's always making all these different faces and is reacting. I love it. Sam, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you, Advocate?
I'm good. Like I said, I love your energy. I love what you bring in your faces. You're like so expressive. So I appreciate you engaging with the other poets and sharing your poetry.
Yeah, no, thank you for creating the space. I mean, all these poets, like but I can't even hold my face. I'm just one, like, I can't really do a poker face like that. So like everyone is speaking to me and everyone is spitting straight fire tonight. So I'm just trying to spit some of my own, you know, like we'll see.
Yeah, get
All
into
right,
it.
y'all. So this is the age of Aquarius. Revolution. Signs of protest, yet still no sign of resolution. We are caught in the chaos of institutionalized oppression and the commoner's retribution. Hell hath no fury like the people scorned, as we conjure the tides of reform that disturb the ebb and flow of ignorance upon which this country was formed. Edited history that praises the white man for stealing holy land will no longer suffice. Imperialistic ideals now are treading on thin ice, now that too much innocent blood has been sacrificed. These excuses that were celebrated under the guise of exploration, once passed off as primary education, are now exposed as the hatred and greed that were the motives that truly founded this nation. Uprise. The marginalized are no longer willing to compromise. Cries for equity with voices unified, yet we remain unsurprised. We are advocating for what needs to be rectified, but privilege is comfort, and comfort is not easy to pry away from hands that are too familiar. Embracing the changes must happen from within the interior, as we know things are always deeper than they appear on the exterior. This is vital in making a paradise out of a wasteland. We recognize deeper problems, but swear allegiance to it with our right hand, hiding behind privilege when all it takes is to understand that we have been set up to stand against each other. Our different vulnerabilities are the common denominator, but ignoring this to claim power is choosing to smother the beautiful intricacies that identify one from another. If there's anything I've learned from my studies, it's that history has always been fenced with tradition, that under any condition, we are told we must accept with mindless and monotonous admission. But for any future victory to come into fruition, look to the past, as history is also a resource for transition. Transformation never occurs from hesitant subsidence. The age of Aquarius brings about true progressive defiance. This era of resistance only breeds a stronger alliance, and persistent voices shouting proves more effective than indifferent silence. There will be victory over violence. Hatred will no longer have a home. Accountability and expression are the first steps of inequality being overthrown. Be too loud. Create bravely to make your presence known. In every human lies potential that is not always shown. So love like art with humble and gracious undertones. Riot and rebuke the hatred in our bones. Take up the space where oppression once was. Fill it with progress and welcome the chaos, because without the intention of change, chaos is simply destructive. Take your past mistakes and make them instructive, so the next generation's chaos will be just as productive. Education is meant for us to apply what we learn, and history should be no different, as far as I'm concerned. This is the age of Aquarius.
Unmute yourself. We give it up for Sam Park.
Hey, thank you so much. I love it. I want you for my team.
Sam.
So in my dream,
Sam Park, cue it in. Let me unmute Sam one more time so we can hear her again.
Word. Thank you all for listening. I hope you loved it.
I think they did. I think they did. You added to tonight's energy greatly. I love that, and I loved your take on to learn something, teach something. It wasn't like as direct. I love it, man. There were a lot of quotables. You got to go check the chat. Where can the people find you online?
Word. Will do. So y'all can find me on Instagram at Zach_beats. You know the vibe. We love making those playlists. I actually just published one today. It's called Fusion Funk, and it's pretty fun. I feel like y'all should check it out. But another thing I wanted to share is that I'm actually doing an Instagram live poetry reading this Wednesday at 8 o'clock. This is going to be at my Zaddy Beats account. This is my first time like sharing my poetry, like without even an open mic generally. So, I mean, it'll be fun. We'll see what happens. I would love to see y'all there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Branch it out. I love it. That is Sam Park. Sam, make sure you put your information in the chat as well. So she's doing a little DJing for you, and then on Wednesday she's gonna do like a home poetry thing and like carry it herself. That's awesome. I'm excited. Today's show seems like people are talking about branching out and doing more different things. I really love it. I mean, I want you to come back to the Monday Night Online Open Mic, but I really appreciate seeing everyone starting to branch out and doing more things or different things. I love it. All right, next coming to the mic, I've seen this name before, but I don't think she's been on the list, and that is Glisette Castro. I saw her before. She was here. Let me see. Maybe now I see you. She was on the first page, and I started going to the second and third page. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi.
There we go. So I think you've checked out the open mic before, but have you haven't signed up, or we haven't heard your poetry, right?
Right. So I signed up. I've been here for the past 2 shows, and I found out through Overdose.
Shout out to Overdose, the Bronx. Shout out to Overdose. Yeah. Shout out to his Saints winning. My Chicago Bears won too, brother. But okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Glisette. So, Glisette, where are you from?
The Bronx.
Nice. The Bronx. That's what's up. Represent my borough. All right, cool. So, welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic. You ready to share your work?
Yeah, I have 2. You guys can hear me okay?
Hear you perfectly. You're good to go.
All right. So, the first one's titled Legacy. I came into the world, first learned how to open my eyes. As I was introduced to new space, the change made me cry. Disconnected from the womb, that safe place I no longer recall. I cried entering this world as my mother smiled, filled with joy. Learn how to wiggle in the womb of my mama. Some would question if that was learned or just nature because of her choice to nurture. As I got older, I learned my 1, 2, 3s, how to crawl, step by step, and how to fall, how to feed, bathe, clothe, and brush my teeth, tie my shoes with bunny loops, repetition and patience, 'cause I tied them loose. The beginning lessons of my mama, but not the only thing she taught. She taught me how to love myself, how to have pride, how to be humble, and how to walk with stride. How to be decisive and use common sense, how to be graceful, though I struggle from time to time, how to stand out from the rest, I always try to impress, to be independent, because you can't always rely on someone else, that a powerful me is not determined by who stands alongside me, how to have a voice and when to be silent, not every battle must be won, and sometimes they're won in silence. How to apologize because I'm not always right. How this world is diverse with its ugliness and beauty. As I live life fully, I learn many other things mama couldn't teach me because after all, it's my life. I learned how to make life. The process is quite fun, and so I tried many times. Along came a son. The joy I felt as he cried, entering this world, learning the same first lesson I did. I saw him naked, vulnerable, unaware of everything to come, and I his protector. He cried and I smiled just like my mama. I taught him what my mother taught me, 1, 2, 3s and ABCs, and so on and so on. He taught me that guidance is key, and he was hardwired very differently. My job was not to clone another version of me, but to help him achieve the best version of himself he could be, as he continues to achieve all things and add to our legacy. So that's the first one. The second one is titled Love Language. Kiss me gently upon my neck, tease me as you gaze into my eyes, embrace me with your warmth. Simple flirtations make me pulsate inside, intense penetration and orgasmic love. Is this how you love me? Is this your love language? Buy me things I need, spoil me with riches without anniversaries, flowers and jewels and all pretty things. Is this how you love me? Is this your love language? Speak to me softly and tenderly. Express your emotions without fear of mine. Tell me you love me frequently. Be attentive and pay close attention to my needs. Is this how you love me? Is this your love language? Spend time with me. No need for material things. Let's watch a show or a movie. Go out to eat. Go to the beach. Fly away just for the scenery. Is this how you love me? Is this your love language? Teach me. Everyone gives and receives love differently. Let me teach you what's important to me. Exploit and care for my vulnerabilities. Love me the way I want to be loved, not how you want to receive. Wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if we could master this thing called love? Love one's vulnerabilities eternally. That's it.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Glisette.
Thank you so much, Glisette.
Welcome, welcome.
Beautiful.
Pieces.
Glisette Castro, let me mute everyone and then unmute her one more time. Should be able to unmute yourself, Glisette. Yes, yes. There we go, there we go.
I can read like in a group. So
Awesome.
I'm happy that you guys have me, you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, and make sure that you check the chat, okay? Because a lot of people are, you know, they comment on poems. As you know, you've been here before, so you know how it goes. Real quick, where can the people find you online?
Here. I don't post my poetry anywhere, so you can find me here. I'm gonna be here. And whenever Babel in the Bronx starts up again, you can find me there.
Yes, Babel in the Bronx, Overdose. I used to host it. I know La Bruja has been a host. Overdose doing all of that. Okay, so gotta ask you, Glisette. Since you're from the Bronx, have you ever been to the Nuyorican Poets Cafe?
No.
Oh, no, gotta mute her. Had to mute her. I know that she's a friend of family. Overdose is my brother and family. But if you live in the New York City area and you've never been to the physical cafe, that's what we do. You do your poem, you share your art, and boom, then we mute you. That's it. I only mute once. There's a couple of people in the chat, including Scott Pleasance, who have vowed to be muted before. So when the Nuyorican opens up again, Glisette, you better go. You have to go, okay? There we go. She says she promised. I saw it. I could read lips. Okay, that was Glisette Castro. She will be back here next Monday, and she will be unmuted. Until then, the mute button. Next coming up is Norm Mathematics. And if you don't know who Norm Mathematics is, he's been the person who's been the loudest when we unmute, and he is cheering everyone on. I'm loving your energy today, Norm. How are you?
Right. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm doing magnificent, as a matter of fact. And mostly because of this show. Mostly, man, I'm telling you. I look forward to the end of the weekend. Get me to Monday, baby.
That's what's up. That's what's up, Norm. Well, I appreciate you, and especially your energy tonight. You were like extra, and I appreciate you sharing it with us. All right, you ready to get into it?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, brother.
So you touched right on my heartstring with this theme. I've been a teacher for 27 years. Okay, so I retired last year. In any case, I got two pieces. This piece is called Teaching is an Act of Love. Teaching is an act of love. When you are willing to lay in the gap for others to get across the bridge that is your back to the other side that knows better. When you are willing to put aside your own thoughts, to listen to the thoughts of the student that rarely speaks. Your listening intently inspires her to voice her thoughts. They are worthy of being spoken. That her words are worth being listened to. That her thoughts are worth the time spent thinking them. She will come to love her voice. Second piece is for all of the teachers in the room. It's called A Drop in the Ocean. In the beginning, mindset, setting heart, mind straight. Be here now. Aproveche al momento. The present is all there is. Soy presente. Expect the unexpected. La vida te da sorpresa. Advice, gestos, guidance from culture mentors, life and elder wisdom. Not surprising how paying attention, totally present to the infinity in the moment, miracles are happening. Comprehension through the confusion thinking sometimes causes. Over trying to make sense when there was none to be made. Not until the moment attached to, detached from, uncalled for by the mind. Finally able to see everything connected. And boom. Coincidence? Ha. Synchronicity, serendipity, blessings, epiphanies, zoned in reflex. All things can happen in that moment. Maybe an empty pause in someone else's dream. Maybe it means nothing to no one, everything to this one. Action, reaction, reflection, all at once, moving forward with the same attention to my horizons, building capacity to respond in the moment to the moment. So community, tribe, clan, village, people, family will thrive as I do. Falling happens, coincidentally, no such thing, coincidence. I'm reminded to fall forward, rolling with it, riding life like a sandworm rider, surfing the sands, flowing ever forward, with or without you. Hope fully with. Life in control of nothing, free to respond with your best effort ever. For our collective sake, your proverbial drop in the ocean changes the volume and the depth of the ocean immeasurably. Peace.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Norm.
Yeah.
Norm Mathematics, the teacher, bringing it. I'm digging the theme. I'm digging how you went with the theme, Norm. Where can the people find you online, brother?
IG, Norm_Maddox, Facebook, Normaddox, Get Home Safe, Poems for Crossing the Community Grid. That's also on Facebook.
Awesome. North Mathematics, brother. Thank you for the energy and thank you for the poetry as always, man. You are so appreciated.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for this platform. I love it.
Norm Mathematics. He is a mainstay here every Monday at 8 p.m. Also, I know because it's Monday, we're talking a lot about Monday, and I want you all to come back Monday, but we have another open mic on Thursday. Every Thursday night at 9 p.m., La Bruja hosts the open mic, but the difference between that night and this night is all poetry. We have a theme. Thursday night, there's no theme, but you can do music, you do comedy, you do hip hop, you can do poetry, whatever it is that you want. A lot of people who join us on Monday are also on the Thursday show. Some started on the Thursday show, Paul con queso, and then they came over to the Monday show and they do it both. So make sure that you go check that out. And right now, La Bruja is in Mexico. So I saw a picture of her partying with two dolphins, literally. You can look her up, La Bruja NYC. She's out in Mexico. So she's either going to be hosting from Mexico, or Thursday night, you may see a totally new host, because Thursday night, I won't be around, so I won't be able to cover for her. Nonetheless, Thursday nights are great. Make sure that you go check it out. Also, I want to give a shout out to Luis Santiago, who always checks in. Denise, who I think this is her first time seeing her name, Almendro, I hope I'm not saying your name wrong, who's checking in, another audience member, first time I'm seeing them. Mashid is here, she's always giving a lot of love to the people in the chat. Make sure when you guys share your poetry to check the chat. I keep saying that for a reason. Now, I see someone named Just Joy. Is that Joy Gales? Yes? Okay, cool. We're going to get to you later, so I don't need to give you a shout out now. We're going to edit that part out. I also see Marlene Suarez. I don't think we're going to get to Marlene. She is on the waiting list. We may get to her, but she's been giving love, and I see her here. She's been checking in. Luciana is here. Or is it Luciana or Luciana? The first one? Luciana or no? Okay, Luciana, cool. Luciana's checking in. She's always here. I see Angel here as well. Masuko, I hope I'm saying that name right. I know that you're on the waiting list. I'm not sure if we're going to get you, but I at least want to shout you out because you're here. And I see you've been in the chat. Annie San is here. Who else have I seen? Roz is here. Umberto's always checking in. Shout out to Roz through her big brown eyes. She's always on the open mic. Make sure you check her out through her big brown eyes. Mariela Cabrera is checking in. Queen Tut is, I think, the second or third time I've seen her check in. Janessa Roberts, Fearless Mind. This is like the second, third time I've seen Janessa Roberts. Poetic is here from Japan. A gentleman named Stephen Christopher. I don't know if that's his real pic, but that's a good looking pic right there. So I'm seeing everyone's putting their video on now, so my screen is jumping. I'm trying to find everyone. All right. Susanna. I see Susanna Preva Perez here. She's awesome. Donna Williams, I see, has just logged in, and we're now seeing the light in the kitchen. No, there's Donna. Hi, Donna. I see you. Oh, how can I forget Net Vega? Net Vega from the Bronx. We've had to mute her too. Oh my God, how you Bronx people got to get muted, man. So I also saw Keish Carpe Diem. She turned her camera off, but I saw her here before too, listening and rocking with everyone. I'm gonna go through the names again because I like to mention the people in the audience so that you guys get recognized, because we don't want to just bring poets here, but we need people to listen in an audience, and I always appreciate that. Okay, so yes, Luis Santiago. Yes, I always see you, brother. I appreciate you. Without further delay, let's get back to the poetry because that's why you're here, and we're going to get to Kai Brackens. Kai, you should be able to unmute yourself. Deja, right on point. She knows what's up. How are you, Kai?
I'm not gonna lie. Today's been the worst day in a long while, so I'm kind of done. So, if Advocate, could you do me a favor, and can everyone in the audience do me a favor and give me a little bit of like energy or something? Because this poem, I need a little bit of energy for.
All right, I'm gonna unmute everyone and give some energy. Make some noise for Kai.
Let's go, Kai. Let's go, Kai.
I know you got
I
that you so close.
have to unmute everyone, and then I have to go back and unmute Kai. Y'all making me work today. Y'all making me work today. You and Scott Pleasant's making me work.
I had to make sure you were on top of what you were doing. But anyways.
Yeah, Kai.
I have two pieces. I have one about today, and then I have the one that I didn't get to finish last week. This one's about human rights is not a debate. That's because my professor thought it was a good idea to debate trans rights in a class, and I had to remind everyone that bullshit doesn't fly here. So, human rights are not a debate, and how I wish I could have been a lot more mean about what I said. But we ain't talking about that. 1, I wish I had cleared my throat and stopped playing nice with my diction. I used to be asked to leave the room when my blackness showed too much, and my debating told me that my passion was too easy to mistake for being angry. And you know, my passion was always a little bit angry. But how can it not be when you converse over the plight of my people like nothing, because you know that it doesn't fucking affect you? My people, minorities, you seem to think we are a topic for you to debate over. No. They would always have to remove me from the conversation the moment their true colors started showing, telling me that a mad Black woman such as myself had no place in white academia. But why? Because it's hard to be nonchalant when the topic has your ass on the line. That while white cis straight people debate on if we should receive our human rights yet, every minority is written off as another quiet voice of acceptance or complacency, or as a hostile and aggressive voice, because for us, this debate is not just small talk over coffee, it is a sword fight, a duel where our opponents don't play fair and shoot down our arguments before we even have the chance to leave the barrel, before our mouths can even pull the trigger. Because for us, this is not a debate. This is a plea for white academia to stop asking us to prove our humanity. Because we have and have always been human. No need for questioning if we have the right to live unabashed in these bodies. The answer will always be yes. That's part one. Catch part two next Monday. And then lastly, this is the one I didn't get to finish. It's called Equilibrium, the Routine of Breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 3, and out for 7. And then scream. Watch the soundless way it escapes. Hope the lack of noise will convey the emptiness the words haven't been able to yet. Equal the pain of this lack of equilibrium, how my brain is on fire and I can't do shit about it, so I spend the day pretending like I can breathe out my heart. Let it bleed out my pores, finding all that comes is apathetic hot air and sighs as my body and bones ache to just stop breathing. Not that I want to die. I stopped feeling that way junior year when I finally understood the cliche of being afraid to live. No, it's not that I want to die. I just want the depression to take a permanent vacation, my PTSD to go fuck itself, my Atlas complex to disappear altogether. I want my binge eating disorder to stop whispering that eating my pain will help me digest the fact that I can't stop hating myself for more than a month at a time. And that I feel uncomfortable and off kilter, sliding off my skeleton and onto the floor. And I've gotten back to that relapse point that I believe that if I just stop breathing, all the pain will begin to dissipate with the lack of oxygen of my blood. But instead, I breathe in for 4, hold for 3, and out for 7.
Unmute yourself and give Kai Bracken some energy.
Kai.
Kai.
Nice.
Wow.
You did it.
Kai, reach out. Here I am.
You did it.
Reach out over here.
Yeah.
Kai Brackens, I always say, and it is not an opinion, it is fact, the most celebrated and best artists we have in the world are those who allow themselves to be the most vulnerable. Kai, I very much appreciate being vulnerable and being very frank about it with both of your poems. Where can the people find you online?
Okay, you can find me, and I have a little bit of announcement about my poetry group, but you can find me at Kai_Loud Fat Mix Poet, or also Kylene 2001 on IG. Both of those areas you can find about the Slam Poet Society's virtual launch party on September 18th. It's a Friday at 8:30 p.m. We will be doing a virtual launch and an open mic at the end of the night. So if you want to come check that out, please message me on my IG. Either one works to get the sign up information on how to sign up, so we can do a head count of how many people we're going to need to make time for. And then you can also find me on Facebook at Kylene Brackens. Thank you all for the love.
Thank you, Kai. I appreciate your energy. Please put that information in the chat. Kai Bracken, she's a mainstay here with our Monday night online open mic and with the community. Make sure that you connect with her, and she always brings it in whatever direction we're going, whatever direction she decides to go with the poetry, she always brings it. So make sure that you check her out. So Max C, wait, is Max with you, Kai? Wait, let me unmute. You should be able to
Max,
unmute.
I actually messaged Chris. He will not be performing tonight.
Okay, no problem. Cool, thank you, Kai. So Max C isn't here. Wherever you are, Max, hope all is well. We miss you. So we are going to go to the wild card. You know, I'm not going to call him the wild card today. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to unmute the withdrawn. I'm not going to call him the wild card today because I'm going to tell you exactly why. because today I'm also seeing, and I've been seeing for a while, and I don't want to just label people, put them in one thing. Withdrawn gives a lot of energy to people, man. He's always engaging. If you scroll up in the chat, he's always talking about different stuff. So yeah, he's the wild card of the night, but he's also the dude who's going to be most certainly comment on damn near everyone's poem with a couple of lines, right? Like he's always giving energy. So that's who we go into. We go into the dude who's always commenting on your poems, and that's the Withdrawn. Brother, how are you today?
Well, man, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Got in that little collab I see. That's what's up. I appreciate it, man. I appreciated that. All right, we're running out of time. Let me mute myself. Get into it, brother.
Okay. All right, so this piece is called New Yorican Taste Testing. This is 2.7. Advocate, before you mute me, I want to send over my apologies tonight for not staying on theme. I just wanted to hit y'all with something before I gave up the final piece of this trilogy. Let's get it. It's 3 in the morning. You know y'all know the lyrics. No bullshit, but if Christina pulls up with a barbell or pair of dumbs and squats over my face, it put down that extra weight on my tongue, and I'm so with it. It's never too early or late for breakfast. The most important meal of the day we be neglected. I'm not feeling cereal. So Miro, do tell what position you want to eat in. It's murder, he wrote, when I lick and spit all over that burger though. The mark might be long lasting when I take this hand and wrap it around your throat, yelling, God damn it, you taste so motherfucking good, Janet. With a voice like the one on Thunder Lungs, I can't help but imagine her throat is probably super expansive. But we're not here to talk about that. You need to lay down on your back so I can essential work your ass. Because during COVID, it's likely you haven't had any time to relax. Let your juice run past my stash and into this beer, because you see, your wetness is better than any essential oil I ever had the pleasure of purchasing. It hurts to breathe when you're not performing with us, Emily. Usually behind the scenes, but I'm patiently waiting for the day the actress directs and demands. Your only role is to eat the pussy from behind me. I know she got a thick hiney, but I saw above the bottom and went straight for her energy. So shout outs to my girl, because she's not just my quarantine. I could go off and get all lovey-dovey, start praising my queen. Or I could stop this performance to make her legs as sore as I was the day I walked from Houston to 42nd Street. At last, we got back a lease. Starting today, the least you could do is pay us more visits at these open MICs every week. As a way to rid of your interest, promise that you'll feed me over and over again. Slower, slower, Roxanne says. I'm sorry. I can't promise that I'ma always listen when you beg. Sometimes that's just how it is. I want Valentina to hold it over me while it's leaking, teasing. Same way I've been doing with part 3, and trust me, I want it just as bad as Queen's Mrs. Jenna Fleeson. If I could, I would branch out to everyone. Extend this invitation to you all before this poem ends. But I specifically want to call her out before she leaves, so Tree, as we await fall, I want to grip tight onto that trunk while you fill me up. If you hit a spot my tongue can't touch, I'll use my fingers to rake it up. Always lick my plate clean and swallow 365 so it endlessly be 'tis the season. Imagine the potential danger of back in college I knew Frazier. I would have dropped all my courses, and of course this diploma would have said I graduated as a Jessica major. To not damage the floor, we gotta lay down some newspaper. With a few strokes of this brush, she becomes the painter. As you drip, 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 I'ma roll, roll, roll my tongue aggressively up your knees. Hungry, 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 wait. I nutted on my sheets. Why is this a dream? Don't know, but now that I'm woke, I might as well give Trisha hell. Who needs an air freshener when her scent is tremendous like fuck a new car smell? I hate to have this piece end, yet I'm happy like Pharrell. So clap along if I haven't mentioned your name so I can set aside that thong. Cause for the rest of you beautifuls who heard part 2, y'all already know that nobody is safe. Just ask Ani-san. You see the withdrawn. I promise you can't run. He wants multiple flavors on his taste buds forever. Like unlimited wine tasting is cool, but New York tasting is even better. Before we part ways, here's some virtual accolades to the ones whose legs shake and grip your hair so hard you swear your head might decapitate. I don't know how many times I had to repeat myself, but ladies, never settle for her man who only ever asks for brain and doesn't exchange, who doesn't take your clit and obliterate, cliterate between your space. If you're single or have a man and are looking for a face, give me a call at 212-780-9386. I'm just kidding. That's the New Yorican phone number, by the way. It's forever love, respect, and appreciation for y'all always. So thank you for coming. Take care.
Yourself, give it up for the withdrawn.
Withdrawn, you are sick, bro.
No, he didn't. Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God. Great.
Withdrawn. I disagree with everyone giving him props. He did not mention me in it at all. I am growing my beard out. I think I'm looking rather attractive myself. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, man. But what happened there? No, I'm joking. Brother, where can the people find you online?
You can find me at The Withdrawn on IG, The Withdrawn Official on Facebook, and website thewithdrawn.com. And part 3, I don't know if you mentioned when you having a no theme yet, but part 3 is like really freaking long, so I'm gonna do them on Thursday so I can stick with theme, and then for the final part, I'm gonna do it on Monday. So it's basically like a month's work. So thank you, I appreciate you.
Cool, man. Cool. Thank you. That is The Withdrawn. And I'm totally going to mute him if he says like 3 names in his next poem and I'm not in it. That's it, man. That's it. Yo, are you kidding me? All right. Real quick. Overdose also always checks in. I appreciate Overdose very much. So I wanted to make sure I shouted him out. Also, I had shouted someone out, but I hadn't seen them post everything. I think it was Janessa Roberts. Withdrawn made her post. So shout out to her. Keish turned her video off again. I was gonna shout her out again because we didn't have it on video. But okay, Miro is here too. Shout out to Miro. I'm not sure if I mentioned her. And I'm trying to make sure I mentioned, I see Rich Glenn in here, Corey C, not sure who that is, but thank you for showing up and checking out. There was someone I did miss, I believe, on the first page, right? Timothy Belgrave checked in, Ron Mark Thompson checked in, Flourish and Flower checked in. I think I got everyone. And now Denise put her her video camera on when I had already shouted her out before. But yeah, I see you, Denise. Appreciate you too. Okay, next coming up is Ray Jane. And Ray Jane too, man. I'm always talking about how talented Ray Jane is, but Ray Jane is another person who's always giving people love, is always in the chat, always talking about poems, and I so appreciate that. Ray, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I give y'all love because y'all deserve love. Damn it.
Well, we appreciate it, man. You know, and it's like I said, I'm realizing that I don't want to try to corner people into this one thing. And it's like, nah, you more than the thunder lung. You're the thunder love as well. You need
thunder love. That's all right. I think I like that. I'll put that on the shirt. Thunder love.
There you go. You need to be in the new Thor movie because I think that's what's called Love and Thunder. That's you right there. That's you. Okay, you ready to share your work, Ray?
I'm gonna give it my best. That's for sure.
Go ahead.
So dope to be with y'all. First of all, just shout out to Scott for inviting us to share with you. That was really dope and so much fun. All right. So this one is called Learning to Teach. I come from that strong stock, that well mixed, that evenly stirred, I stem from daddy's long-legged tales, linking my lullabies with love-laden linguistics, mixes of truth and just a bit of embellishment, emboldened. I get my talk that talk from long line of griots, great epic tales of battles in Brooklyn borough and rage, reddening Georgia clay, how they been gangster way back when gangsters was still black. Daddy made me watch Roots, connecting common courtesies not extended to me and this skin, so I'd understand why they killed cornbread again. Stretching the thread in my mind around details of this melanin, wrapping me in reasons to know exactly who I am. I learned to survive, unsure of when I realized I am also a conduit, a link in chain. Gumby graciously stretching self, standing and filling gaps as I walked on someone else's back to get here, knowing I may need someone else to bend for me one day. So I practice, reaching back to young Thundercats behind me, smashing ceilings as I rise, leaving ladders trailing, daring, those given no outlines. No deeply pressed tracks to follow. No, been there. This is how you do that. Abundance of darkness on my hills, creating lack. So I illuminated. I became light, even set myself on fire so you can see, so they can be better off than the oldest versions of we. I still have work to do. Mama's folk made the lesson so palpable. The other side of my trees, big baobabs, storing water in their barks. Stern and often seeming dry, but in drought, the teachers are where my water lived. So I drank greedily at their fountains, sat still, head down, taking in their fruits, clenching teeth at times, tutors turning tables with tasks meant to grow me, but because they know me, they mix in sweet kindness, kind of masking acrid taste when ego regurgitates, when they told me already not to consume, though eager to be more omniscient. I often come into classroom missing vital evidence of paying attention. But they are patient with me, sharpening my lead, polishing penmanship, proposing precise as best means of pressing toward the mark, making me minister to myself, muddling in mead or about at least 5 subjects, materializing from compositions. Once clear on my position, I take note now what hurts and how. They show me shadows and expose how I have missed my assignments, chasing answers to questions already solved on their reclaiming their time with pain they already paid for on my behalf. I review, remeasure rules to becoming ruler of oneself, adjusting rubric for my children. This one just vigorous enough for my beating heart. I learned from my teachers, from my mama's peoples, from the evangelists called grandma and grandpa, how to shift gears into gratitude, how to pray, how to bend knees, how to get nothing I want, but to say thank you anyway. I have been taught, and though the rope they weaved has grown taut, I towed down the line of this life, twisting and terrified, my fears digging pits beneath my feet. But daddy always told me, baby girl, rarely anything good is easy, and ain't nothing easy very good. Each testing these theories and coming out as facts helps me to come to terms with that. And this education on how to survive has no graduation day, that life is ongoing accumulation of degrees, necessity of mastery. Self-love is exactly 360 of the first lessons taught to me that still requires drills, respect in general, needing no coaching, the rod and staff providing enough reinforcement to stand. Pillars of personality, my people taught me to dig, unearthing trauma as I go, untethering from pain I have not met before. No, that's not mine. Perhaps the greatest lesson yet is difference between what I need and what I already know. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Ray Jane.
Oh, Ray.
Damn,
Oh
Ray.
my God.
Oh,
Powerful.
Amazing.
Damn, Ray, you went all the way in. Wow.
Ray
Damn.
Jane, she gives a lot of love and she gives a lot of passion with her poetry. She's always appreciated here. Ray, thank you for adding your voice to tonight. As always, where can the people follow you online?
You can find me on itsrayjane.com or on Instagram at 3_4 clairvoyant. There's a link to that, my blog, Instagram, everything on itsrayjane.com. Thank you for allowing me to share your space. Thank you, Advocate, for being exactly what your name says.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. It's rayjane.com. She also has a SoundCloud where she has over 40 recorded poems. So if you fell in love with the voice and the poetry, you can hear it again. It's rayjane.com. We love Ray. I appreciate Ray. And she gives so much energy back too. I appreciate it. Okay, the last person on our guaranteed slot is Just Joy. Where? Oh, there she is. Let me unmute her. You should be able to unmute yourself. Joy, can you unmute yourself? Giving you the option to unmute yourself. Come on. It won't let you? What the heck? Oh, there it is. There it is. I wasn't muting you. All right, cool.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, we
Back up.
speak a little louder.
Okay, hold on. Back up. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Hear you better now, Joy. Now, I've seen your name before, but this is your first time on the open mic with us, right?
Yes, I was here about 2 weeks ago, but I didn't get a chance. I didn't sign up. So this will be my first time.
Oh, awesome. Where are you located?
I'm in Jersey. I'm in Atlantic City.
Oh, okay. You just over the river. That's what's up. All right, Jersey, go ahead. Represent.
I didn't know there was a theme, so I'm just going to read one of the poems that I have. It's called Because We Are Black. So here we go. It's like we were designed to fail, tossed around in a penal system without bail, reform, all because we refuse to conform to bullshit-ass societal norms. Orange been the new black around here, all because of the color of our skin they fear. I'll be damned if we walk too fast, jog or run down the block. Shit, if we breathe too hard, we might get shot by a cop who doesn't know how to show restraint. It's like all our lives, we've been standing in the paint. We can't take any chances and go for the layup. We just gotta stay up and stay prayed up. We can't even finish our run for Aubrey because we gotta stop and take a breath for George. We tired of being silenced. We tired of being ignored. See, if Corona don't kill us off and send us to the morgue, these murderers gonna keep hunting us down like prey until we rise up like Andre Day and stand and fight against oppression and police brutality. But when we stand up to injustice, death becomes our reality. They said the revolution will not be televised, but we keep seeing our Black men and women die right before our eyes. They tell us not to rush to judgment against these murderers. I guess we're supposed to be patient while they keep murdering us? Nah, fuck that. We sick and tired of this shit. We overtired of being brutalized. We tired of being hit with blows of bullets and then blows of the officers' acquittals. We tired of getting disrespected, humiliated, and belittled. We are fucking outraged about being falsely accused. We are aggravated as hell because we're governed by a different set of rules. We are tired of marching and singing and rapping. We are sick and fucking tired of remembering names and hashtagging. We are angry and infuriated, so we storm the streets with protest. And every night, we erupt with civil unrest. We are exhausted from being emotionally, physically and brutally attacked. We are tired of this shit happening to us because we are Black, because we are Black, because we are Black.
Unmute yourself and give Just Joy some energy.
Wow. Speak it, baby. You're
Yes.
speaking for a whole bunch of people lined up behind you.
That was
Thank you.
fantastic, Joy.
Awesome.
Just Joy, welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Just Joy, you should be able to unmute yourself again. Yep, I hear you. It says you're muted, but I hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm on Instagram.
Oh, wait, no, we lost you. We lost you. We lost you. We heard you were on Instagram, but then that was it. Man, how is it I can't unmute someone, but I can mute people? What is going on here? We're trying to unmute Just Joy. I need to summon the powers of the unmute button. I don't know why it's not. Oh, there we go. It worked.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Thank you, everyone. I'm on Instagram at JoyGales21. I'll put it in the chat. I don't do any of my poetry on Instagram, but I like to follow people just to know if there's any other poetry going on. This was great. I really enjoyed everyone, and I'm happy that I joined. Thank you.
Thank you, Just Joy. Whoa, wait, now my screen changed. All right, cool. That was Just Joy. I appreciate you, Just Joy, also coming in and checking this out the last couple of weeks. So we have run out of time, but I've gotten to everyone on the guarantee list. If anyone who's watching wants to sign up, what you would do Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, go to the Nuyorican website, nuyorican.org. You click on full events calendar. You would choose next week is the 21st. You would click on that and get an artist RSVP. It opens up at 9 p.m. Eastern. First 25 to sign up are guaranteed a slot. Then the next 10 is on the waiting list. Sometimes we get to the waiting list, sometimes we don't. It depends on the night. So also, I have other stuff going on outside of New York in terms of workshops and other open mics. So you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Advocate of Words. That's with a Z at the end. In fact, September 26th, I have an erotic open mic that I'm going to be hosting. We always have fun there. Those who are the best dressed get a little goodie bag from Tantalizing Productions, which is an adult novelty company. We have a lot of fun, okay? So Withdrawn fits well within what we do. But a lot of people from here come. I think Paul's received gifts. Paul con queso, he's been there. Ray Jane, a bunch of people. Wendy, who's not here right now, but she always shows up. So make sure you check out nuyorican.org as well. Make sure that you go check us out on Facebook and YouTube. If you want to rewatch whatever happened today, whatever we did tonight, you can go do that on Facebook for Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Once again, thank you to tonight's producer, Mr. Chris Lopez. I appreciate you, brother. I'm really glad that you're back in the fold. So with that being said, good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as tonight's poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting us into your homes. This has been the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I've been your lucky host, Advocate of Words, and you guys have been so great tonight. You can do whatever you want. After we close out, do whatever you want. You've been fantastic. Next week's theme, forgive yourself. So do all the sinning you want, because next week we're going to forgive ourselves. All right, Chris, we're done. Take us home. Peace.